Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Star Wars Fanpedia Community Showcase. I'm Brandon Ray, here with Daryl Della, and online we have Eric Morrow and Brian Linder. How's it going, you guys?
What's up?
What's up, guys?
Awesome. So let's get right to it. There's been a lot of rumors over the last week or so. The biggest one is over who the villain's going to be. And we've heard that it's going to be this like robotic cyborg Sith Inquisitor.
We should do like a spoiler warning. Spoiler warning.
Spoiler
right?
warning.
Yeah.
Spoiler warning.
Episode 7 spoilers are ahead.
Now that
So.
I told you the plot of the movie,
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Eric Morrow is the villain of episode 7.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Continue.
It's like this robot dude. We saw this concept art. I could put it up if I could, but I don't know how these things work. And he's a robot. He's wearing a black hood. Looks kind of like a Sith, and he's holding the burned helmet of Darth Vader. And he's apparently an Inquisitor, and it's going to be tied into Star Wars Rebels, where there's the Inquisitor villain. I know you're really big on Star Wars Rebels.
I'm not a big fan of Rebels. No,
No.
I don't really like the art style.
So yeah, that's what we know from this site called Indie Revolver, which I know, Brian. Let's start with you because I know you think that Indie Revolver is a front site.
You're gonna call me out on that right here? No, I don't know. I don't know anything about Indie Revolver. Who are these guys? If you are with Indie Revolver, come forward and tell us who you are. Now, who are? Is it a front for JJ? Is it like something that he's set up at Bad Robot to leak all this stuff out there? I don't know. The site was launched, I think, around the time that Episode 7 was announced. So a couple of my friends and I were texting the other night, last Friday actually, when all this news broke. And yeah, one of them was speculating that this whole thing is just a front, and JJ's using it as like his mouthpiece for misinformation. But anyway, I don't necessarily feel that way personally, but who knows, right? It's a total JJ move. I'll go back to the villain point. I will say this, like, you know how you kind of hear things, right? So I've been hearing all along that the visage of Vader is going to come and play in Episode 7, and that would be played out through this sort of charred mask that's somehow recovered. So this totally jives with that. What I'd originally heard is that there was this character that sort of becomes fascinated with Vader, and it was one of the cast members that was actually announced, so I don't know if this is who they're playing or what, but that they become fascinated with Vader, and they go on this journey. They somehow recover the charred mask, and then just go like full-on dark side. So I don't know that it totally jives with what we're hearing about this robot Sith Inquisitor guy, but maybe the story has evolved. I think that point, though, with the whole charred mask is a true thing.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I think that's legit.
And we should point out too, like if you watch the behind the scenes how they made the prequels, if it's anything like that, then there's going to be like 100 different possible concepts for what this villain looks like, and it could be one of those, and may in no way reflect what we see.
I like the idea of them finding the mask, charred, burned, but I hope they don't wear it.
That would be dumb, but I like the idea.
That could be an easy way of setting up. This guy is even worse than Darth Vader. Show the mask and have him throw it aside, crush it, or something.
But like from a marketing perspective, why wouldn't you want to use, like how the Dark Knight Rises, they use Batman's broken mask.
Exactly.
It'd be like using that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say this real quick about Brian Linder. Brian Linder believes anything.
I will lead up a rumor, dude. Yeah.
We were in our Skype chat the other day, our Star Wars Skype chat, and I believe I said in there just for, a little fun, just for giggles, I said, well, you know what I heard is that it becomes revealed that Luke Skywalker is actually Star-Lord, and he flies the Millennium Falcon to go defeat Thanos, who recruited a group of Cylons on his side to battle the rebels.
Yeah, that's the post-credit scene. That's the stinger right there.
I believe it. I think there's some truth to that. It's what I heard, dude.
Yep. That jives with what I'm hearing.
I'm just gonna call BS on all this right now. Look, maybe it is legit. Maybe the idea of an Inquisitor, a Sith Inquisitor villain is true. It just seems a little too convenient that Star Wars Rebels is coming out right now, and the main villain in that is a Sith Inquisitor, and quite honestly, I don't know, dude. I think that image that we're all talking about of the guy, of the Inquisitor holding the helmet, while it's great imagery, and I think you're right, and I do think Darth Vader is going to come into play somehow in the new film. I think that's just I think somebody made that image. It doesn't look legit to me. I don't think they've even concepted that. Like, I don't think they've gone that far with the effects. You know what I mean? Like, this is still very early on in the production right now.
Disagree.
I mean, what I would say is that that image does look bad, but if it is legit, I mean, bad in terms of like production value.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it is legit, then it could be pre-visualization. It could be, you know, just basic concept.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if that's a legit shot of some sort of previs or storyboard. That was, you know, obviously the picture is poor quality. It's like a picture of a screen. You can tell by looking at it. Someone like took a picture of their computer screen. That was circulated out to maybe like a promotional thing, like whoever they may be partnering with that's going to start to develop promotional stuff based on that. Like someone may have leaked it that way. I don't know. That's my theory, dude. I'm sticking with it, Eric Morrow.
I'm going to send you an image that a scooper just sent over to me, Linder. I think it's legit, bro. It's Iron Man. It's Robert Downey Jr. in the armor, but his helmet's off, and he's holding a charred Darth Vader helmet. Dude,
man.
It's legit.
Patton Oswalt is going to be proud, dude. That's going to be... This is their chance to bring all the worlds together, man.
Yeah, and we've also heard from episodes, or not heard, but there were actually photos of this. You know, production update from episode 7. Harrison Ford is officially totally fine, because there was some photos on TMZ this morning, and I hate the fact.
Your favorite website?
I hate the fact that I just said those words. There were photos on TMZ of Harrison Ford somewhere in one of the western states, I guess, going down this slide that kind of goes down a mountain, and it's 2,500 feet long. So basically, he said, okay, I just broke my ankle. I have to go back to Star Wars soon. So now I'm going to slide down a mountain, really give J.J. Abrams a heart attack. But in general, it seems like he's fine now, and production's about to get back on track. So I think all those rumors about like moving the movie back, the release date back, were all BS.
How awesome would it have been if, like, at the end of it, he hits the end of the slide, blam, and breaks his hip. Like, all his bones are just like dust right now, and they just go, poof, and like his skin just falls in because he's so old.
Apparently, the report too was even saying that he was telling the people in front of him to go faster. So like he was really trying to get down that thing.
It was because he had his walker out in front of him, and he was scared that he was going to hit him with his walker.
I forgot.
You're so ageist.
Yeah, I forgot that Eric is really looking forward to seeing old people in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. So I'm gonna bring it back to the rumor tip for a second. One of the images that was out there that everybody, and by everybody I mean Linder, was like, dude, this is so awesome. This is so awesome. Was old Harrison Ford in like Han Solo clothes.
Yeah.
Awful. Horrible.
Those images were awesome. I loved those. Like the one, he looked like old Malcolm Reynolds, and there was the other one. It looked like he was. It was awesome. I loved it.
I was hoping he was just going to wear the same thing, like he never changed his clothes in 30 years.
No, you don't like the long coat. I think the long coat is there to kind of.
I don't know, dude. I don't know what I was expecting. To be honest with you, and look, all kidding aside, it's just crazy to me, and it's probably because he was dealing with the broken leg, so he was hurt, and he didn't have makeup on, but he's just been, in everything I've seen him, like photo-wise, he just looks so old to me as of late, you know? Again, they're going to put makeup on him, he's going to look better, but I don't know, dude, I think they should respect that in the film and kind of acknowledge that in the film, and his attire, I don't think he can pull off the gun on his hip, you know, the holster and the vest. I just don't think he can pull that off anymore. I think they need to dress him a little more appropriate. That's all.
But he's got to suit up for one last mission, dude. This is it.
Did you guys see him in Expendables 3?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
because he was awesome in that. But he is getting kind of the old man shake. His head is starting to like bob around a little bit. But he proves that he can still fly a helicopter and blow a lot of stuff up. So.
Okay, well that's good. I like the concept behind the Expendables. I like the first two movies. So if he pulls it off here, I'll put some faith in him.
Nice.
Cool. So the other thing that came out in what I feel comfortable calling a BS rumor, but we'll talk about it anyway, is there was the report from comicbookmovie.com, maybe, I don't remember which one it was, but a report that Disney was making the unaltered original trilogy on DVD and Blu-ray, that same rumor that we hear every 6 months. People picked it up, people were talking about it. Do you guys think that we'll ever see that?
You don't believe that? You're calling BS on that? Is that what you're saying?
I believed it the
Brian
first.
believes it, obviously.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm true to form. I believe it.
I mean, I believed it the first time I read it like 5 years ago, and then every 6 months when it comes out, I believe it a little
Do
less.
you guys
and less.
even want it? Do you want the original?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. I definitely want it.
I don't.
I think even if you don't want to buy it, I think
I want
that's.
like more modifications.
I feel like that's a movie.
No, come on. You do?
Oh, yeah.
I feel that's.
Oh, we got to talk about this.
Plenty of stuff to be fixed.
Even if you like the modifications, I think like the 77,
The
80,
history.
and 83,
Yeah.
that's like, those are the cultural touchstones, the one that people fell in love with, and I think that those should be preserved and not just
For
like
history, it's
some guy's ego saying you can't see this anymore.
Yeah, I agree with Brandon. For that reason, I'd like to own them. I own them on DVD. They did release some, remember, the unaltered versions on DVD a while back. And I own them that way. It would have been awesome, to be honest with you, if they had released them when they did the Blu-ray box set of all 6 films. It would have been great if they had put it in there. But I will say this: now that George Lucas doesn't have his firm grip over all this stuff, I think there could be some truth to that. You know, if Disney executives are the ones that are making this marketing decision and this DVD decision, I could see it. They're like, hey, let's make some more money off of this thing. Let's put it out there. You know, Lucas was just ultimately doing that because he was, at least my interpretation, super embarrassed by the original product, and he just didn't want it out there. You know, hell, I wouldn't be surprised, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I would not be surprised if Disney put out the holiday special legitimately on Blu-ray or DVD in the next year or so.
I wouldn't mind seeing that as an extra on whatever this set is.
Yeah, I mean, I could see 2 potential hang-ups from this. One would be that if George Lucas managed to get something into the contract that says you can't do this, at least until... I don't know if Disney would go for that, but I think they'd probably be more interested in the future of Star Wars and might go for that sort of thing. But even if that wasn't a factor, there's still the fact that 20th Century Fox owns the distribution rights to A New Hope forever, and owns Empire and Jedi distribution rights until 2020. So either Disney would have to pay a lot of money to own those rights, which I think they probably will eventually, or they have to work out some sort of deal with 20th Century Fox. And in a situation like that, 20th Century Fox has all the power. So, it kind of has to be, do they want to do that? Do they want to give it up, or do they want to enter into a deal?
You got to think that they want to make money off of it while they can, right? I mean, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, you'd think so. They're not going to be distributing any future Star Wars movies, so why not?
Yeah.
Some or just some sort of distribution deal.
No, I think they go ahead and get in there. I think they make the deal and they release the movies now, and then Disney comes back and releases another box set after Episode 9, and then we get all of them.
I'd really like a make-your-own box set where you can pick and choose which special edition changes are on your copy.
They did that with...
that would be awesome.
Yeah, like if you could actually... I don't know if anything's ever been done like that before, but I do know that... Steven Spielberg made some changes to E.T., and then he put out a box set.
I give you both.
Which were crappy too, right? Yeah.
And Ridley Scott, there were 4 different versions of Blade Runner, and they're all out, available, and you can.
So let's talk about the changes for a second, because it sounds like Daryl's pretty bullish on special editionizing the movies. I hate it, but there are some things that I do like about it. So I want to go around and just ask you guys off the top of your head, what's your favorite change to the original trilogy and your least favorite change? Brandon, you first.
Favorite change? I like in episode 4, and I guess episode 5 to an extent too. And I guess also episode 6. Okay, so in all of them, I like when overall, when they used CGI to kind of update the locales. I like that Mos Eisley became a busy spaceport. I don't like all of the CGI that they shoved in there, but in general, I like the fact that it went from really being this, like just some dusty road in the original to, just being a full-fledged spaceport. And I also like they updated the designs of Cloud City a little bit in the special edition. I like that. And I like when they added Cloud City, Naboo, Tatooine, and Coruscant into the end of Return of the Jedi, because I think that kind of helps bring the whole thing full circle.
What about your least favorites?
My least favorite, it's a bit of a tie. I mean, if I had to really choose one, I would say Han shoots first, because it looks stupid, as we were talking about before.
Yep.
And it takes something away from Han Solo's character. When it was just him shooting, he was clever and he was cold-blooded, and it gave him an arc. And now he's just a guy defending himself, and that doesn't really work. I also don't like the Java scene because it's redundant. I kind of consider that an extension.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that never really sat well with me, even though I can be kind of okay with it, is when they added Hayden Christensen as the ghost in Return of the Jedi. Like, I get it, but I also don't get it. It doesn't really make any sense, but whatever. I'm not that fussed about it.
Well, you just totally rattled off all of mine, so I'm going to go ahead and go to Daryl.
Basically, just every major change in the original trilogy.
The one that I don't like is Han shooting first. That's the only one that I would get rid of totally and go back to the original. Everything else I really like. I like the overall graphic scheme that they gave everything. Everything looks really pretty. The CGI looks nice, and when the Millennium Falcon takes off, I like the new Emperor or the old Emperor or whatever in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, the monkey eye or chimpanzee eye or whatever it was.
I don't like that one. I like the new version
Ian
where
McDiarmid.
they've got the real Emperor in there. And there's still more to be done. Like, they need to fix the lightsabers. They need to fix a lot of the lasers. There's a lot more work to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
So
the story.
Yeah.
I love all the technical changes. I think that stuff's great. I love the audio improvements, the way that they've fixed all the mats. The things that I don't like are just, I'm going to have to disagree with, I guess, both of you guys. The intro to Mos Eisley, I can't stand that scene. Like, it takes something that I feel like was sort of a cool, sort of dangerous place, and it makes it into a cartoon to me. Like, there's all sorts of like wacky hijinks that happen, like in the scene, like, Jawa's falling off of dinosaurs and crap like that. Like, that's not what I want to see right there. I want it to feel dangerous. I don't like that. I can't stand to me it completely ruins the Jedi mind trick scene where Obi-Wan is like, you don't need to see their identification. And you've got all these like robots flying by, like these little droids flying through the screen. It just completely undermines the dramatic effect of that scene to me. And that's a big scene. I feel like you need to feel something. You need to just kind of chill and be able to feel that scene. Instead, there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. The things I do like, I like the Battle of Yavin changes.
I think we lost Linder.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Am I back?
You're back.
We dropped. I guess the things that I do like, I love all the changes to the Battle of Yavin, and I really like, Brandon, like you said, the Cloud City, the interior changes that they made. Eric, what about you?
Yeah, I think for the most part they've all been touched on. I would say, likes. Definitely the Battle of Yavin. I love how they added. Well, I don't know if they necessarily added more X-wings. I think they might have, but they repositioned them so they fly more like in a formation as opposed to kind of the straight line, and they each kind of individually roll out and things like that. I love that. It just the flight pattern or the attack pattern looks more authentic. And I think Daryl, you mentioned the Millennium Falcon lifting off from Mos Eisley when the stormtroopers kind of attack the landing bay that they're in, and the way it kind of the camera's up top and it looking down and it kind of lifts up and takes off. That's an awesome shot. I love that. Dislikes, yeah, I mean Han shoots first is up there, but I would say adding Hayden to the end of Return of the Jedi is just horrible and makes absolutely no sense. Old Yoda, old Obi-Wan, young Darth Vader or young Anakin, you know, and God, what an insult to Sebastian Shaw, man, like that they cut him out of there. And then the other thing I hate is the replacing the Ewok, the Yub Yub or Nub Nub or song.
Oh, you're a Yub Nub fan?
I wanted that in there, man. That should stay. I want that as a soundtrack. I just want that whole thing on a CD.
Nice. We should also mention you can find a list of all the changes to the Star Wars films on Wikipedia. If you go to Wikipedia's homepage and just search list of Star Wars changes, you'll find a pretty comprehensive list there of all the changes in all the different versions.
Has anyone, I may be mispronouncing his name, I think it's Adiwan, something like that. Has anybody, it's a fan edit of
Despecialized?
the original, no, not despecialized, more specialized.
Oh, more.
Like he actually makes some visual changes that are really cool, like especially in
I haven't seen that one.
A New Hope, like when you first see the Death Star, it ends up being surrounded by this massive Imperial fleet, and it's in orbit of a planet. He made the Battle of Yavin much bigger. He added in like a hologram in the briefing scene instead of just that Star Trek view screen. You know, it's the kind of things that don't affect the story, but improve, quote unquote, the special effects. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing things like that as long as we still have the original available.
All right, Star Wars fan film. You ready? The ground assault on Yavin. So they're attacking the Death Star, right? And of course there's this huge aerial battle, but aren't the rebels they're on a base on the moon, right? And they're monitoring this whole thing. Wouldn't Imperials bring ground forces in and try and assault the planet instead of just like waiting for the Death Star to get into range and blow it up?
You would think so, right?
That to me would probably change the story because now I'm getting really nerdy here. But not that we weren't already. But you know, Tarkin's whole thing was the superiority of the Death Star, no way that anybody could stand against it, and it was going to work no matter what. So I feel like if they sent in ground troops, that would probably like undermine that arrogance. Yeah, like if they're going to blow it up in there. I mean, you could
collateral damage.
You could do that. I could see them saying, "Who cares?"
Yeah.
But
yeah, exactly. It shows how badass they are, right? They're like, destroy the troops. Who cares?
Cool. I think that's.
Is that a wrap?
I think that was a wrap. Cool. So thanks everybody for being here. Thanks Brian. Thanks Eric. Thanks Daryl. You finally were on a showcase.
Thanks, Brandon.
And you didn't curse once.
No,
that is
once.
nice. Good job.
Held it together.
You did. All right. Well, cool. I think that does it for this episode. See everybody on the internet.